before Spider-Man No Way Home, Tom Holland during multiple interviews said that this would be the most brutal we've seen Peter Parker yet in live action, and that something specifically almost goes a little too far. Now, having seen the film, we all know that he's talking about the ending of the film and almost taking Green Goblin's life. So let's have Tom Holland finally talk a little bit about this now that we know what it actually was that he was teasing. So Tom recently getting to talk a little bit more about what he was teasing. This comes directly from Marvel, and he talks to them about the brutal and bittersweet and rough ending for Peter and the film. And he says that essentially he wasn't teasing just one thing, it was pretty much everything that happens at the end. So first and foremost, a little bit about that fight. He talked about how brutal and bloody and visceral it would get, and we definitely get that. He was ready to cross that line and take a life had it not been for Raimi's Peter Parker, which of course was huge in that scene for what they were trying to do for Peter Parker's character development, and then ultimately that it doesn't end up happening. He doesn't take a life and he learns another lesson, and he sees how it could again take the life of somebody that he knows and admires / loves. So again, this was huge, and he talks a little bit about that, talking about how it's at the point where Peter is losing everybody he loves and he realizes this, hence why the spell goes in, and then it's bittersweet because you have that ending where it sets up, no one is safe if they know who I am. I have to take this into my own hands. It has to be a very sad ending, and Peter has to realize that it's very sad because this is the new norm. He has to be completely different. And that once again, this was all going back to that final moment, him versus Green Goblin, and what leads to that, which of course now you watch the film, you know that Aunt May dies. So again, that's a huge character development point. It's all sort of pushing the film towards that final act where we get that moment where things then almost get out of hand and he realizes, I can't do this. If I was willing to do this, who knows what else I might do or what could happen. And he moves on with his life. And that honestly is one of those great moments where you realize one chapter of the book has ended officially. Now we can move on to something else. It's a completely different chapter. Eventually things are gonna start to look similar again, but probably in a somewhat different light ultimately to how they get there. And you definitely get the sense that when he talks about this, that Peter is gonna still have this sad future going forward, no matter what happens next, and that the big factor in this was all that moment where he almost took a life and he had to really reflect upon what he just almost did.